Good morning, everyone. It's Jennifer here at Clipper Street. I am live here with our Crafty Hour number 52. I'm just going to make sure that everything is set up here and that everyone can find me. Let's just refresh this here. Perfect. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining me today. I'm super excited to be doing this Crafty Hour. As some of you may know, I am a 49 and market fanatic, so I was quite excited to be able to do this Crafty Hour with everyone this morning. Good morning, Sharon. Good morning, Janice. Hi, Tracy. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm just going to give it a minute or two here to make sure everybody can find us this morning. I will be doing 2 cards with you today, and I am kind of excited about them. One is a little bit technique-y, the other one is kind of a fun gatefold, just to take on the gatefold, but I think it's kind of nice to have a little bit of a different fold every now and again. Good morning, everyone. Oh, good. It looks like everybody's found us. I'm in the right place, and we'll get started here shortly. Hopefully everyone found the homework. There really wasn't very much. It was just kind of pulling some items out and making sure you kind of had them handy. I didn't have any crazy cutting measurements or anything, so hopefully everyone was able to find that and just pull the pieces that we're going to need for today. I am going to start off with the gatefold card, so I'm just going to put this one up here so everyone can kind of see it here, and there we go. Sorry, there's a bit of a delay, so I want to make sure that everybody can see here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to make this, and it's a 5x7 card, so we've just made the traditional little slip-on closure, and then it's going to open up. The pattern papers are just so stunning, so I really want to make sure that we showcase those and then add a few fun rub-ons and everything as well, and just working with some of the ephemeras for the closure, which is what we're using here. So what we're going to do right now is I am going to pull out the items that I had asked you to grab, including the trimmer. I had requested that you have a trimmer that has a scoring blade, as well, if you didn't have that, to have a scoring board and your trimmer, because we are going to be doing some measurements for that. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to pull out our pattern paper that has the leaves on it. So hopefully everybody has found that. On the back was this kind of orange plaid. So that's that one right there. Good morning, Evelyn. Yes, it's Jennifer. Can you guys hear me okay? Make sure. Is that a little better? Susan, can you hear me a little bit better now? I've just kind of moved in a little closer to the mic. Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with this pattern paper that has the leaves on either side. And I am going to put this, I'm going to move the card out of the way a little bit, and I will put this here too so you can see that. So I'm going to start off, and I'm going to start by the 6-inch side here, and we're going to cut, the first cut is going to be at 3 3/4. Move this out of the way here, and hopefully you can see everything. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut at 3 3/4. And then we're going to be left with this piece right here. So we want to hang on to this piece. And then we're going to move it along, and we're going to cut again at 2 1/4. So I'm just moving that along my trimmer, going to 2 1/4. We're going to cut that right along there. So we will be left with these 2 strips here. and then I just have this other piece here. So we're just gonna set this aside. We're not gonna be using that right now. So we've got our 2 pieces here. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to take those, each of these strips are gonna be 2 1/4, and we're gonna take those and we're gonna trim them just so that it's at 6 inches. So I'm gonna take this here and we're going to, sorry, I'm just gonna fold out my arm here. There we go. All right, so I'm just gonna take this now and I'm just gonna cut it at the 6-inch mark. And we'll just take it, so I'm gonna take off some of the plain part of the paper. So we're just gonna trim that right along there. Everyone's still doing okay? So now we're left with a strip that's gonna be 2 1/4. And actually, I am so sorry. I just totally flubbed there. I should have cut it at 6 3/4. I'm so used to doing shorter cards. So please make sure that you cut at 6 3/4. And I'm just gonna grab another piece here. That's the good thing about having 3 pieces of paper in your kit. I am so sorry, everyone. There we go. Okay, onward and upward. There we go. So we've got our piece. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut right at 6 3/4. Everyone's following okay right now? So we're going to, let's keep the pretty end and we're going to do that at 6 3/4. Hopefully you can all see that. So there we go. We've got our 6 3/4. And I'm going to do the same thing with this piece right here. Again, at the 6 3/4. I'll pull that up here so you can see it's at 6 3/4. There we go. Pull that along there. So now we've got these 2 pieces here that are going to be 2 1/4 by 6 3/4. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my floral one that I had asked you to pull, and that was the one with the beautiful florals on either side here. And it has the pink on the back. So hopefully everybody was able to find that paper. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do exactly the same thing as what we cut the leaf pieces of paper. So what we're going to do is along this 6-inch side, I am going to cut that at 3 3/4. So we'll measure that right there. We're going to cut that. Again, being left with a 3 3/4 and by 8. And then we're going to move this over and we're going to cut that at 2 1/4. That again here, line that up, and we're going to cut that. So this time, so this is what we're left with. This time, this one right here, this middle piece that is left, we want to keep this strip. So this strip is going to measure 1 1/2 by 8. We're keeping this because this is going to help make our belly band. So now again, these 2 strips, we're just going to cut them down to the 6 3/4. Hopefully you can see that there. Pull that down into the screen. Everyone's still doing okay? I'm not sure if my comments are coming up or not. So I'm going to take this and we are going to cut it. And you can decide where you want to trim it. I want to keep this pretty little butterfly, so that is going to stay there. And I'm just going to trim that at 6 3/4. And same thing with this piece. We're just going to trim it at 6 3/4. So now everyone should be left with, we've got 4 pieces that are going to measure the 2 1/4 by 6 3/4, and then we had this one strip that was left, and this strip is going to be 1 1/2 by 8, and that was again the one that was in the middle from this piece of paper. So we want to hang on to that for right now. So I'm going to just set these aside for a moment. Okay, good. I'm glad, Suzanne. Thank you. Getting my feet wet again with doing these lives, so hopefully everybody's following okay. The one other piece for this card that I had asked you to pick was this pattern paper. So on the back of it, it's quite a bright pink, and then it has florals along the bottom of it. Here, I'll hold that up so you can see. But what we're going to be using is we're going to be using this nice neutral side, and that's going to go on the inside of our card that we're making today. So what we want to do with that one is we are going to take this, and along the 6-inch side up here, we're going to cut that at 4 3/4. So I'm just going to line that up on my trimmer. There we go. Perfect. Okay, and this strip, again, we've got some nice strips left over. I'm sure you're all going to come up with some beautiful alternatives. I can't wait to see them in the group. I'm going to put that one aside, and then I'm just going to rotate my paper, and then now I'm going to cut that to 6 3/4. So we're just going to trim that off along here. So now we're left with this piece of paper, and that's going to be our inside. Now, the one other thing that I had mentioned was that if you wanted to grab some foil cardstock. So this is totally optional. You do not have to do it. It's just what I did was I did use, I think I've been around Deanna a little too long. I'm starting to pull out and add foil to my cards, but I did use a little bit just to kind of finish off the front, which I thought was really nice. I didn't put any on the inside. I didn't think we needed the extra bulk, but it just to kind of finish the edges. But again, it's not a step that needs to be done. And as you can see from how we've got it on the inside here, it still looks beautiful because these papers are stunning. So you really don't need to add that, but I'm going to quickly go through cutting the measurements for that, just in case you all choose to use a little bit of foil as well. Okay, so let's do that. Now, as I mentioned again in the homework, I'm using a rose gold. This one is from Spellbinders. It was in one of those combination cardstock packs that had some glitter paper, some pearl paper. I think Deanna may have hinted at a little sneak peeky of something that will be coming on Friday that may be in this kind of vein of paper. So you guys are definitely gonna have to tune in tomorrow for that. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to take my paper and I am going to cut my strips at 2 3/8 by 6 7/8. Trust me, that was a mouthful, and I really had to figure it out because I'm not the greatest with the off measurements. But what I'm gonna do is I've got 2 1/4, and then I'm just going to count over right here, and it's going to give me 3/8, and that's just going to give me that very, very fine border. So we're just going to trim that down, and then we are going to trim that to 6 7/8. So again, just going along our trimmer, and initially we had that one at 6 3/4 is what we're matting. So we're going to go to 6 3/4, and then we're just going to count over to this one right here. So we're going to cut that. So now I have this beautiful piece that is going to very finely mat the front. And we're going to do the same thing for the other piece. Move my little pile over here that we're collecting. So same thing, we're going to take this now and we're going to cut it at 2 3/8. Oh, it's okay if you're just watching, Leslie Ann. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming. And then we're going to do 6 7/8, which is just right there. I think I'm going to have to invest in some of Courtney's corners that she has. They're great for lining up all these off measurements. Okay, so only one more bit of cutting and then we're in the fun part, the assembling. Sorry, I know this is a bit of cutting here, but I figured it was better to cut it all with you and explain rather than try to get you to do it for homework in case there were some questions. So the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the plum cardstock. Now, again, I just mentioned that it could be, you know, just any dark purple cardstock. From Spellbinders, I'm using their plum. I know we carry it in the packages here at Clipper Street, and I'm sure Courtney, if she doesn't have it, she's able to get that in as well. And this one's just called plum. It's just a very dark kind of purple. So what I'm gonna do is along your 8.5 inch side, so along this side right here, I am going to cut that to 7. So we're just gonna line that up. Move this over a little bit so we can see a little better. And we're just gonna do a slice down and cut at 7. Everyone's still doing good? I haven't lost anyone yet. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it on your 11 inch side. So we're gonna flip it. And then we are going to cut that at 10. So we're gonna line that up. Should be able to see all of that. Just line that up and cutting it at 10 inches. There we go. Okay, now I can get this cumbersome trimmer out of, oh, actually, nope, never mind. Don't put your trimmer away yet. We still have to score. I've got now my sheet of paper here. So this is going to be 7 by 10. And what we're gonna do is along the 10-inch side, pull this out again. So on this 10-inch side, what I'm gonna do is, and I found the easiest way is to just score it on either end. So I'm gonna line that up to 2.5. Everybody wants to kind of see here. We're going to line that up at 2.5, and don't make the mistake that I've done before. Make sure you're using your scoring blade if you're not using a scoreboard right now. And we're just going to take that and we're just going to do a nice score here right along. So that was at the 2.5 mark. Now what I'm doing is I'm flipping it. So I'm now having the scores, the one that we've already scored, facing outward. And again, on the side that's not scored, we're now going to line it up at 2.5. And we're all doing okay here right now. That's in there. All right, so we don't want to use that one. We want to use the 2.5. Okay, let's see, how are we doing here? So what we're gonna do now and I think I've cut my paper a little off, so don't mind that. I am a little bit off on this one. I probably didn't, should have pressed down a little harder, but that's all right. So anyways, you should have it so that it is going to line up. So we're going to line up just like this. All right, so I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to crease this. Everyone's still doing okay? And what you can always do too, if you've kind of mismatched it a little bit, is I'm sure no one else has ever done this, right? I am just going to line it up and trim it a little bit here. That was my bad, I cut it off. There we go. And I'm gonna fix my off trim here. So that's the other thing too. There's no mistakes in crafting, right? We can always just kind of fix it. There we go. Perfect. Thanks, Deanna, for letting me borrow your trimmer. Okay, so here we are. We are with our gatefold. We are now going to assemble the card. So what we're going to do is, if you had cut some of the foil paper, what I'm going to get you to do is grab that, and we are going to just line up, and we're just going to glue those two together right now. I am just going to use my glue gun here. So I love this thing. I don't know if everybody else has jumped on the wagon of getting the glue press, but it is a game changer. And I know we probably say that a lot when gadgets come out in crafting, but I really must say I absolutely love having mine. Oh, until you do it all the time? Okay. Well, that's all right. I don't feel so bad. See? Even as so-called professional crafters. And I say that tongue-in-cheek when I say a professional crafter. Okay, perfect. There we go. So we've got those. Now remember, when we had cut these two pieces here, I had asked you to save this one strip. So this one strip right here is going to be what we use to create this belly band. So it's going to have the pink on the other side of it. I'm just going to lay these two that we've already glued there so those can dry. And then what I'm going to get you to quickly do is I'm going to get you to take this strip piece, and we are going to just do some scoring, and just some light scoring. Again, it is heavyweight pattern paper, but it also is, you know, because it's patterned and the fibers in it, don't score too heavy because you could crack it. And the reason why I also want to lightly score is we're gonna not do a crisp fold on it, because what's gonna happen is we need a little bit of wiggle room for the bulk that is gonna be building up in the card. So I'm going to take the side that is the pink side, and then again I'm going to move these over here. I'm going to take that and I'm going to score that at 1.5. We'll do that right there. Oh, I almost did it. See? A scoring blade. Scoring blade. Glad I caught that. And we're going to flip it around. So again, the side we've scored is going to be on the outside, and we are going to do that at 1.5. All right, again, scoring blade, not the cutting blade. We're gonna score along there. Good morning, Debbie, nice to see you. Okay, everyone, we're good. So we've got it kind of scored. Now we do have a blank piece there. That's okay, because that's what's gonna, we're using for the belly band, and we're gonna assemble this little cluster. So we've got these pieces. We've already put our foil if we were doing them. So if not, no worries, just set those pieces aside. I had asked you to grab these items from the ephemera pack. So now obviously the ephemera pack only has one of each of things, and Courtney and I are sharing it. So when I recreate my sample for you today, I'm going to be using alternate ones, but I recommend you use this. Although I don't, when I looked at Courtney's homework, I don't think that there was any repeats from what I'm going to be using today. But yeah, this is the one that we've done for my card here. So what I'm going to do for a substitute is I have grabbed the one that has the orange as opposed to the purple. I grabbed the little frame that has the kind of fuchsias and the florals. And then I grabbed this leaf. Now I know Courtney is using the leaf, so I recommend you use the bigger one here. I'm pretty sure when I saw her homework that she did have this one out. And then I've grabbed another flower, a little butterfly, my sentiment, and then the little tab. So to actually do the belly band, what I'm going to do first is I am going to create my little cluster. So let's set this aside here. We're going to start off with just the base of the postcard. I'm going to kind of, what I've done is I've kind of just angled it here, just like that. And then I've taken the little tab and kind of put it to the side there. So when I'm angling this, I'm just kind of lining it up so I don't have a gap at the top here. So we are going to take glue and we're just gonna put a little bit of glue along there. We're gonna put the tab here. And I just kind of had it more up towards the top. Again, you can, you do you. You can do it however you want to do it. But I'm just going to do it just like that there. And then what we're going to do is I'm taking a look here and I just want to see, and this is the fun part when making clusters and things, is that we're going to just kind of play around with placement. So I'm going to take a look and I'm going to see here where I kind of want them. Again, the orientation of the flower is a little bit different than in my original. I'll put that up there again too so you can kind of see where I've placed them. Oh, I'm sorry, Sharon. Is this a little bit better? I didn't realize I was so high. I got to get used to the depth of the camera. Was that a bit better right now? Sorry, I'm on a delay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're just gonna take a peek on where we're gonna place them. So I'm kind of looking here, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take a look there. See, okay, so now what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna take a bit of glue and I'm just kind of gauging where this is going to fit. Kind of want it right around there. So I have a little bit of peeking out on the edge here and kind of on an angle there like that. Again, it's really, honestly, it's not an exact science. It's not an exact measurement. It's kind of what looks good and feels good to the eye for you. And again, this is your project and I'm sure the recipient will love whatever you do. So I'm just keeping, because I know in some of the areas it's going to be hanging off a little bit. I'm just going to take a little bit of glue and I'm just going to keep it really close to the edges here like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little leaf and I'm just going to play around a little bit, see kind of where I want that. And we're going to line that up in here. And I'm going to angle it ever so slightly so you can see here. So we're going to put that down. Now don't worry, I know obviously the leaf is loose. I like to take a little bit and kind of, we'll floof it a little bit, just bend it up a little bit. And that's the nice thing too about liquid glue. You've got that little bit of wiggle room time. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, again, my glue, and I'm just going to add a tiny little bit in behind here. I don't want it down super flat, so we're just going to add a little bit. Everyone's doing okay so far? Sorry, I think I'm putting it up too high to the screen. Oh, thanks so much, Evelyn. Okay, how are we doing? We're doing not too bad for time here too. All right, now we're just going to take the flower here, and then I've got this butterfly. Now, because the orientation is a little bit different, I'm going to play around with mine a little bit, but you can take a look here how I've done it. And same thing, just gonna kind of bend them up a little bit. Gonna take a little bit of glue, gonna put that down. Gonna take my butterfly. And let's see, how do we want them flying? Let's have them, take a look here. Maybe we'll position them kind of coming up a little bit. So just a little bit of glue there. Add a little bit more. So it's kind of moving it around a bit. There we go. And then what I've done here is I've just taken some twine, and those that have done any other crafty hours or have been in the store and asked for advice know that I am an absolute lover of twine. It is my favorite. I just realized I have my scissors in my bag, so I'll just borrow these ones. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and create a little bow. So we're just going to do that. If there's any kinks and stuff, sometimes I will run my nails around it a little bit. Sometimes that'll curl it a bit too, which looks cute. And we're going to take the twine here. And then we're going to snip there as well. Perfect. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to take a foam strip and I'm going to, and this is really the only dimension that is on this card. Snip a little bit there. And I haven't lost anyone yet. We're doing good. So like I said, I've used a different one this time. I've used the So Very Thankful. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to line that up there. And I'm just going to position. There we go. So that's our little cluster. So then what we're going to do is we are going to set that aside because I'm actually going to assemble this together once we have the base done, because then that way I know exactly kind of how wide I need to have this and for it to easily slip on and off. So assembling this is quite straightforward. We've got our 2 pieces for the front. So we're going to put those on, get that lined up here. And like I said, mine's a little bit willy-wampus here, but that's okay. We're going to put that on here. And we're gonna, and again, I mean, there is no right, wrong orientation for this. You can kind of line it up if you want this one on this side, etc. I've just done it, so let's take a look here. We're gonna do it so it fits up this way, but you can kind of do it however you want to, whichever way you want to put it. So I'm gonna get some glue on the back of here. I'm gonna do that. I'm going to put that on here. Line that up. And then for the inside, again, very straightforward. We're just going to put those other strips on the inside here. Well, the thing with the belly band too, Sharon, is it's nice because we're using some leftover pieces. I was able to incorporate that leftover 1.5 by 8 inch strip. So yeah, I haven't done a card like this in quite a while, so it's fun to kind of revisit some styles that maybe we haven't done for a while. We're gonna get that one on the inside. Do that here. And then all we're gonna do is we're gonna take this one with the plain. And the reason why I used the plain was because I'd be writing on it. And of course, it can be decorated however you want. Let's take a look here. There we go. All right. And then what I did also ask you to take out was, this was one of the rub-on sheets. So what I actually did for this card was I just put this little rub-on here on the inside. You can choose whatever one you want to use. I don't know if Courtney's doing any rub-ons or anything. We are going to be using this one for our next one, so I don't recommend doing that. But let's see, maybe this time I am going to, why don't we do this one? And the 49th and Market rub-ons, if you don't know already, you'll soon know that they just go on like an absolute dream. So I'm going to take, and this time I'm just going to do it, this is the one, my sample, I'm just going to do that one on this side here. And let's just rub that on here. It is like opening a present, Julie. A good present, I hope. There we go. So I'm just using my bone folder. I do believe these came with a little stick that you can use too. I just like using the bone folder. So we're just gonna rub those down. And there you go. So that's that on this one here. So now for the assembly of the belly band, all I'm gonna do is take that strip that we've made, and what you'll notice, it'll be a little bit tight because remember I said when we're scoring here, it's not going to be an exact measurement. So I'm just going to do that so that it kind of feels at a comfortable kind of slide. And then all we need to do, and you can use your adhesive of your choice for putting along here. I actually have some soup wing handy, so I'm going to take a little bit of that. You can use your tape runner. Liquid glue, obviously, you're just going to need to give it a little bit of dry time. But I'm going to tear off a little piece of that. And put that along there. And then we're going to pull this off. All right, so the key now is we want to make sure that it's going to be kind of loose enough to slide up and down. So I'd like to just kind of center that here. And then I'm going to take my piece, and I don't want it pulled super tight because then it's not going to be easy for the recipient to open it. So we're going to just kind of line it up. There we go. And then now should be able to slide it on and off. Oh, except I need to press that harder. There we go. Perfect. So now that will be your belly band. So there we go. That was the original one. And then what you'll see here is I've added on a couple of little of the pink fresh dewdrops. I'm not gonna do that today, obviously, because I want to get on to our next card, and our next card's a little bit of a technique-y one, but I've just added a few on the leaves, so it gives kind of like almost like a water droplet effect with some really pretty shimmer to it. Okay, everyone doing all right? We're ready for the next card. Let me just quickly put these aside. Okay, now for the next card, I did ask for a couple of supplies. Thanks so much, Sharon. Thank you, Julie. Oh, thanks everyone. I really appreciate it. So this is the second card, and this is a little bit techniquey. So I'm definitely not a mixed media guru like Joe and Stacy, but sometimes I like to dabble with ink, and especially I love watercoloring. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to create a unique background. And again, when working with inks and water, no two are ever going to be the same. So if you're a perfectionist like me, recovering, you've got to kind of just go with the flow and enjoy it, and have fun with what you come up with. So what we're gonna do is I had asked you to pull out some ephemeras. This one is from the laser cut package, the leaf laser cuts. I had promised Sharon I would do something with the leaves because she wasn't too sure about them. So Sharon, you inspired this card. So you're gonna pull out the leaf, and I did have a picture that was in the homework and stuff. So that's the shape. Now again, because there was only one of each, I've just pulled a different one. Again, very, very similar, but it's not exactly the same with the colors and everything. And then I had pulled out just a different little sentiment and label. So that was the other thing that we needed for this card. So for card 2, let me get the right one up here. You are going to need a card base, which was in the instructions. And then also I had asked for you to have some mixed media paper or some smooth watercolor paper, just some heavyweight. I absolutely love the Vicki Boutin White Foundations Mixed Media paper. We have this in store in the 12 by 12, and then it also comes in a card maker size. I think it might be 6 by 8, and we do carry that, and I know that Courtney's had this before as well. So I have the 12 by 12 because I'm also a scrapbooker, and I like to do some watercolor backgrounds and stuff sometimes with my pages. So I just cut it down. So if you could have, some paper that, like I said, is either watercolor or like a very heavy weight. I believe this one is 140 pound. It just doesn't, it reacts to the water better, and it doesn't kind of pill up and buckle. So I need you to grab some of that, and then you are going to grab your trimmer. I'm going to move my card to the side here. We'll move our little pieces over here. So what you want is you want to have some paper, and then we are just going to cut that. Sorry, just give me one moment here. We're going to cut that to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So basically it's the size of a card front. I am going to cut that down with you afterwards, but I kind of wanted a full panel to work with, so we can play around with the space and kind of take a look and see what kind of reactions we get with the water and where it ends up landing. So then we're going to take that to 5 1/2. There we go. So we've got your paper for that. I'm going to actually start with this first because then it can dry while we cut the other papers that we need to cut. I am going to take, I've just got a board here so I don't mess up Deanna's nice little pad that she has down here. And I had asked, again, water-based inks. I used the Distress inks from Tim Holtz. The majority, like Pink Fresh Studio, has water-based inks. A lot of them do, Hero Arts, lots of different companies. So they'll be, because they're like a dye ink, they'll be water-based and water reactive. I've used Peacock Feathers, Seedless Preserves, and Spiced Marmalade. You can, and I have played with, you can use oxides too in that color. The reaction is just a little bit different. You'll find that the color is a little more muted and almost more of a kind of powdery or chalky finish to it, because the oxides will sit a little more on the surface and they react a little bit differently with water. And then also the Distress inks are a dye base, so they kind of dye into the cardstock. So everyone's following me so far? And then I had asked that you have a piece of acetate. Now, it doesn't have to be a nice piece of acetate. It's not for any type of like shaker element or anything. I've just got a piece here that I use, and we're going to be doing some ink smushing. So I've got my acetate. You can, I did mention, if you have a larger acrylic block, you can do the same thing on the block. You'll probably get just a little bit of a different results, because it'll probably deposit more of the ink on the paper with each push down, because it won't be kind of pliable like the acetate is. So I am going to start off with the, oh, and then yes, best friend paper towel. So have some type of water absorbing device at your disposal. So I'm just lay that to the side. So we're going to start off with the Peacock Feathers, and I'm just gonna kind of smush it down here on the paper. I'm gonna take a little bit of water and spray it, so you can see I've just got some water and some ink beading up on there. And then all we're going to do is we are going to kind of push it down. Just kind of smush it, play with it. Don't be afraid. I took some, and like you can see, I'll put the card here. You can see I've got some down on this side. I've got some up on the top. Obviously, the more ink, the more concentrated. If you have the less water, more water, it's going to be lighter. But just see how I'm kind of pressing it and smushing it down. Take a look there. So we're just gonna, I love ink smushing. It's so fun. This is another great technique to use with like your glass mats and stuff. Kind of smush it. Smush that all down. I want a little bit of a deeper blue, so I'm going to take just a little bit more, and I only added a tad a bit more water. There you go. See? All right, so now I'm going to wipe off my acetate sheet. I'm going to give this a little bit of a dab. And again, the nice thing about this is you can just keep building color upon color upon color to create more depth. So we're going to do that. Then we are going to take the Seedless Preserves. And I was actually surprised when this went on how much pink it picked up, as opposed to like really heavily purple. So same thing. And I'm just gonna smush it. I think this time I put a bit more down, so it's gonna get a little more purple, which is nice. Everyone doing okay there? Let's do a little bit up here too. All right, and then I'm just gonna pat it off a bit. Well, there we've got our colors kind of blending together there. And then the last one I'm gonna do is the Spiced Marmalade. that on there. Orange is my absolute favorite color. I know that not everyone loves orange, but I just think they look so beautiful together. And orange and purples and teals are just always such a beautiful combination. So we're gonna put that in there. I've got quite a bit of water on that side, so I'm just gonna pull some of that up. And then see when I'm pulling up to the color as the water reacts to it, it's gonna lift up some of the ink too, which is super fun. I have kind of some water spots. Okay, so I should have something that looks something like that if you're playing along with me today. And if not, that's okay too. The video is always here for replay.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. I'm just going to set my little inkiness aside and try to keep Deanna's work surface as clean as I possibly can. So we have our base now. And I just wanted to quickly show you, I thought, what would happen if, because 49 and Market papers are a little bit thicker weight, that what would it be like if I used some of their actual pattern papers to try this technique? And here I actually used oxides. So you'll see it's, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it's a little more muted, a little more powdery. But again, it's also is on like one of the more plain patterns that is in the package. But it was fun. One thing though too, you'll see that the paper is a little bit warped because again, it's not as heavy weight, but it's definitely something fun to try that you can do it on some of their papers. And then this one here, this one was done with oxides as well. So remember I said the oxides have a little bit of a different reaction when on the paper? Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. So let me stick those aside and I better get motoring, as Deanna would say. I'm a bit of a chatter. So let's go to what we need to cut. We're gonna set this aside and I'm gonna move my inks now because we don't need those anymore. I'm just gonna put that up there. I'm gonna set this aside. I had asked that you pull out these two papers. So this is what the patterned side looks like, but we are actually using the B sides of them. So it's got a very kind of distressed faint polka dot on there, and we've got the teal and the brown, which again plays beautifully with these colors. And I had also asked that you grab the rub-ons. So we are going to be using this rub-on. So these are the ones that have the texts. Again, absolutely, it is your card. You can do whatever you want. But we are going to use this, those, and the floral rub-ons. I did also use this one here. So I'm just going to cut that one out of here for right now. I'll pull those, perfect. And the cutting for the pattern paper is very straightforward. We are going to take, because we're just going to layer the front of the card and it's just a regular A2 card base. I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4. Oh, sorry, pardon me. I'm going to cut that at 4 because we're matting it.
I think you're frozen.
Oh.
Have you been watching?
Yeah, I have. It must have
You're
just
not
froze
moving.
because I just, yeah.
Well, it happened when I was
Okay.
back there. So it's been a few minutes. I was waiting.
Oh, okay, because I
Nope.
just pulled these out.